Going on, Jerome's, one of the standouts so far at Minnesota Fighting Vikings training camp a weekend has been second-year cornerback Akayleb Evans, working on the outside, starting with the base defense, as well as not coming off the field in nickel and dime, looking to be a force on the outside in the Brian Flores defense, and I think he's got what it takes. Let's talk about Akayleb Evans today. Background: 24 years young, 6'2", a $198, a former two-star recruit from McKinney, Texas. Started his career at Tulsa King, where he's a 2-year starter. Transferred to Mizzou in 2021. As a senior, recorded 29 tackles, 3 passes broken up, an interception, and a sack. 74.6 PFF grade. Played well at the Senior Bowl and tested really well. Had great length, had great in the bench, a huge broad jump as well, solid 4.6 40 for a corner his size, 9.57 RAS on a scale of 10, so pretty damn good. One of the reasons why he fell in the draft was he did have some injury issues, got a medical waiver after a shoulder issue at Tulsa, so that's something to keep an eye on. And the Vikings last year with Kwesi for year one did take 2 shots at cornerback. Second rounder Andrew Booth Jr., who also incidentally has some health issues, as well as Akayleb Evans. And I'm still holding out hope for Booth when he's healthy. Knocking on wood, he's got first round talent, but he's had a rough go of it, man. He's had a rough go, but Evans looks to be pretty damn solid. And last year, after the Vikings took him in the 4th round, pick 118, he played in 10 games, including 2 starts. Now, it should be noted that people may say, well, he didn't get on the field as a rookie. Well, yeah, Patrick Peterson, you had Cameron Tiny Dancer, you had Sean Sullivan, and also you had the rise of Duke Shelley. So, it was kind of tough, but also, the Vikings lopped off their top 4 corners from last year. That is pretty damn amazing. But he played 162 total snaps, 23 tackles, 2 passes broken up, 3 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. Did some good work on special teams as well. And his 47.2 PFF grade is nothing to write home about, but I think it's more about how Donishell was deploying his corners last year, as well as the relatively intermittent pass rush, especially after Zadarius got injured last year, especially the lack of interior pass rush. Puts a little bit more stress on corners, but Caleb did make some plays, had that beautiful forced fumble against the Commies, coming up in run support, making some big-time tackles, and 3 passes broken up. He was out there. It was up and down a little bit, but overall for a rookie, especially a 4th rounder, did pretty damn good. But what ended the season in early December was he had 3 concussions, throughout the season, and simply not good. And you don't want to mess around with the brain, and 3 in 1 year, especially the highlights of Tua getting multiple concussions. That's something that you don't want to play around with, and that could have been it. That could have been it for Akayleb Evans, but he came back this offseason. He worked on his tackling technique. He has some new equipment as well, and is looking to be a little bit smarter about it. And sometimes these players are too tough that you have to save them from themselves. And Akayleb Evans wants to play a physical brand of football, but it could be the detriment to his own health out there. But I think there's a lot of reasons why he will thrive in the Brian Flores scheme. Number one, long, lengthy on the outside, as well as Brian Flores wants to play that more press man versus sitting 7, 8, 9, 10 yards off the receiver, which frankly is not Akayleb Evans' bag, but he's going to be able to use his size, use his length, use his anchor to be able to jam receivers at the line of scrimmage. And that's something that Kirk Cousins talked about on Wednesday too, is that there's a lot more pressing at the line of scrimmage, a lot more disrupting the receivers' routes before they get out onto the field. And Akayleb Evans will thrive in that. Also, setting the edge versus the run. He is a sheriff out there, and it's going to be a tough day if you're trying to run over on Akayleb Evans' side or throw a screen over there. He sniffs those out very well. Also, he only had 2 pressures in college and none last year. But since Flores is going to bring heat from everywhere, I just want like 4 Akayleb Evans blitzes this year, because given his athletic ability, given his willingness to stick his nose there in the run game, I think Akayleb Evans would be a phenomenal blitzer, especially from the backside and catching the quarterback from the blind side. All of a sudden, boop, 21 right in the small of your back. Let's go, man. Also, like we said, playing more press man. Plus, with that, he's going to be allowed to be more aggressive up in the receivers' grills, and that's going to be his game, especially since the Vikings are going to be blitzing a hell of a lot more this season because of this man. because of this man. And it should be noted that besides Byron Murphy, Akayleb Evans has been the cornerback who's been out there every single time with the first team defense, whether they're in base with 2 corners, whether they're in nickel with 3, whether they're in dime with 4 DBs. And it has been more of a rotation at the other outside cornerback with Juwan Williams, Andrew Booth Jr. before he got injured, as well as Mekhi Blackman working in there. But Akayleb Evans, the kid stays in the picture. And also he's been making some plays as well, especially in the red zone when they work on that. So, I mean, Akayleb Evans, like, if you just squint hard enough, like, do you possibly, given his size, given his length, given his tenacity, do you possibly see shades of 2017 Xavier Rhodes? I don't know. It's really easy for me to squint. But also, one margarita and I see a blurry Xavier Rhodes. I don't know, man. But either way, I do think that Akayleb Evans does have a ton of talent, and I think that Brian Flores is going to accentuate that. And it's been a while since we've had a really solid homegrown cornerback. I guess you have to go back to Xavier, but I mean, intermittently, fortunately, Jeff Gladney, rest in peace, as well as, you know, Mike Hughes mixed in there. I mean, just they haven't found their guy. But Akayleb Evans looks to be really damn solid, and knocking on all the wood, wishing him best of luck, wishing him health and happiness, and just get out there, man. Just get out there. I think that he's going to have a lot of fun in this defense. But your thoughts are thoughts of the rise of Akayleb Evans in 2023. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.